Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'm feeling real legit right now.
Yes.
Your
Like
hubby
new
hooked
stuff.
it up. Look
Sure
at this.
did.
We got the mics.
He loves us.
I love him. Hey, this is amazing. Go team. I know. This is really exciting.
Yes.
I love this. Okay, what's your temp today? How you feeling coming in?
Oh, I'm really good. I'm like at a good 80, 85.
Ooh.
That's 10 points higher than the last time. How
That's
about you?
awesome.
What's your temp?
I think, about 85. I'm solid, like a high B plus right now. I'm just, listen, Vanessa, I am letting go of so many things in my life right now where it's just, we always talk boundaries. We always talk about just leaning into things and just prioritizing and kind of coming to what we're going to talk about today is just, acceptance of like prioritizing without apology.
Yes.
Baby, let's talk that seriously because I'm just done. I'm done with being sorry that I'm saying no to things, being sorry that I'm giving so much energy to things. Do you ever do this? The other day, I made plans with somebody and it was like, okay, well, I won't see that person for 3 weeks. I make the plans with them. I'm like, okay. And I wasn't excited to be in the same room because there's such takers. Yeah. And then finally I got to the day before and I'm like, I don't want to go and meet with this person because I thought 3 weeks ago I'd feel better about it, but I never do every single time.
Because your time is more important on the priority list. Yeah.
Right. But then I flaked. I did. I flaked. But then I'm like, I got to stop that as well because that's kind of passive aggressive, right? To flake at the end. I just have to learn how to say no and prioritize different.
Well,
right?
Okay. No, fully. I'm on the same page. I
need help with this. Yeah.
Because, all right, so we had a baby.
Yeah.
And that
you wanted that.
Yes. And it changed the entire world. Mm-hmm. And we're almost we're pretty much at 6 months. So that's when life has become beautiful. This is like a great time because the first few months is just not the jam. But that being said, it's adjusting to like a whole new world. Mm-hmm. And not like Aladdin and Jasmine. It's like a whole new world of just different things that are more important. You can only do but so much. And for multitaskers and for doers and all that kind of stuff, it's like overwhelming to say the least, on top of it's just all new. Right. And figuring new stuff out and how to do those things. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is that I found all the stuff that was superfluous or that was extra, all the fat in the day. And that's people, those are things. They're, just time frittered away in different ways. Just goes, okay, no. And it's very clear. It's very kind of black and white in that way where you're like, just nah.
Was that before you had Apollo or after? Like, did everything come into focus? Or did you prep before, kind of? Or did you notice people not wanting to hang out with you when you were pregnant? Like, did you notice certain things?
No, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
I mean, I think, people normally, like, priorities and all that kind of stuff shift always anyway when you're maturing and getting older and new things happen in your life and you're, getting wiser, hopefully. But definitely there was a clear line once the baby was present. It was like, I don't got time for that right now.
Yeah, I bet.
And when you do want to make time, when you do have time, it's like, okay, I don't want to spend it with that or doing that or talking about that. I'm going to do this. And generally it's about, I need some me time.
Yeah.
Or we need some we time. Or, stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to have a kid because I feel like I'll be off the hook a lot because especially when I was single, like everyone was like, well, Ferrigno will just come. Like she's down to it. And then would try to just get me because I was single all the time. Yeah. And then I would be pulled in different ways and directions. And I would say yes to things. And then I would just leave feeling empty because it was always me. Because me, I'm always the one in the corner being like, tell me your problems. And people will always be like, how long do you got? You know what I mean? And then they're telling me everything. And so, but I know friends, like close friends we have.
There.
I know. I'm tired though. Like I'm only about reciprocating.
Yes.
I know the close friends that I do have, like, close friend we have together. She'll always start with, no. you're starting. Like, because I'm always like asking questions.
Always. Malcolm did the same.
Yeah. And so she'll be like, no, you're going first. Cause then she loves to talk as it is. But what's interesting is I want to hear what you think about this. So I've been sitting around and I've been apologizing, and I apologized so much when I canceled, because that was kind of a passive aggressive move for me, because I did make plans. I should stick to my word.
Yes.
I made plans 3 weeks in advance, knowing in my heart that I did not. And you know what? It's okay to let go of people. Like, I don't mind texting that person once in a while, saying hi, but like making the plans with them, I don't need to share the space. I know it sounds weird, and we'll talk about boundaries later on. Like, believe me, we've got many podcasts to talk about, but I feel as though, and I'm learning not to say, but I'm learning to say, however. Have you noticed that?
I'm learning not to say trying.
Ooh, what are you substituting with trying?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay. All right. So with this, starting with the apology thing, is instead of I'm sorry, replace it with thanks for understanding.
All right. Hold on. Well, I want to roll it back, because part of, just in the effort of being 100% authentic and like being real with yourself and your priorities, and communicating that with everyone and everything around you, stuff like that. I know, especially in the beginning of all the change and stuff, it was communicating how I felt and going like, I didn't want to say like, oh, you're not important enough or, I just don't have time. Like, you want to be, polite, and you want to be cordial, and you want to be kind.
You want to be liked.
Yeah. But you also got to be real. And I know that's always been a struggle for me, because I'm very plain spoken, and I
you
can
are,
say a lot of
not,
things. Exactly.
I don't know about. You can label yourself.
I can be
like
rough.
That.
But it's,
hell yeah, you can when needed. Yeah, real.
But at the same, and I like that. That's why I like. I could say that I'm like a broad in that way. It's just, you just want some real talk and some just tell me what it is, so I'm not guessing.
Right.
And then also there's like an emotional way of communicating too, that when you use, that's why I love to curse so much, which I have to decide how I'm going to handle that with the baby, but like,
right.
But it's so emotive, and it just conveys the feeling behind the words. So no one's guessing. And it's not like that faux politeness and faux, crap that's so prevalent with everything and everyone. You just kind of want to, and that's, give it like it is. And that's why I like people who are just very plain spoken and just is who they are. So that being said, when you are conveying that, let me back to it. I'm sorry, I got twisted on that.
So I was saying, like, not apologizing, not making the plans to start with.
Yeah, not to okay. So when you convey it,
right?
How do you do that well and make or not make those plans? Because it also talks about maybe if you're in a new place or a new space, or you're a new you, which we all are constantly evolving and stuff. You're outgrowing friends, you're outgrowing things, you're outgrowing conversations. So how do you do that instead of just going stop? It's like, it's hard to just understand it too.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
Because it all leads to conflict and all that kind of, it's complicated.
Yeah. Because I don't lie. You know what I mean? No. But I will make excuses where you can say it's a lie, but it's not. Like, but I actually
it's an effort to try to be nice
to work.
Instead of just being
exactly
real.
I had a girl, I had a quote unquote friend, cool chick, right? Yeah. Except I'm just, those people that are way more into you than you are into them. Like, it's kind of like dating, right? Where it's just the case. So she was just like, why don't we ever hang out? And I wrote her and I was like, I'm just not that into you. Just like, she was like, okay, all right. Well, and she took it better than sometimes where that's my anxiety. Real where talk. I'm like, and it comes from a kind place. And I'm like, call me anytime. But it's making the effort to go, make the plan, sit, share space. Like, that's a journey in itself. I won't mind picking up the phone once in a while if you need tips or help and there's an agenda there.
Sure.
But then at the same time, like I never want to burn bridges and I don't want to ever hurt people's feelings.
Exactly.
But I think it hurts people more when I'm making the plans 3 weeks in advance and I know that a day before and I'm hoping with good intention that I won't feel that way.
Yes.
But it's like, that's the thing of insanity. That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The result's always the same. I don't want to go and hang out. So I guess it's just people... I guess I just have to just say I've got a lot going on in my life right now. Right. If you want to pick up the phone and we'll have a quick chat, let's go for it. And, hope you're doing well kind of thing.
Because you've grown, we've both outgrown friends, right? Yeah. As we've gotten older, friend groups, like even hanging out and just behaviors, outgrown behaviors to where we are now. And it's just, I know for me, it was so hard to just kind of see it and then like acknowledge it and go, oh, and then be okay with it not being my thing no more.
Right.
Or my friend anymore. Especially if you're the one, I don't know, if you're the one that's changing and leaving. I know I felt like, oh, I'm doing something bad. I felt like the bad one.
Right. But it's prioritizing. So it's kind of like what we're talking about today is like flipping the script of sorts for empowering ourselves and not feeling bad and victim-y and all of that. So like kind of like what I was just reading was instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Because if I hear one more person, Vanessa, I don't know about you, but I hear it daily, like constantly. This one person I know is just, I'm sorry. I'm like, really? Or it's when people are like, and I have a hard time doing this too. When I say, oh, that's awesome. Is it really awesome? Because the word awesome
There's
means
the automatic responses. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry. Or, oh, I love you. Oh, I love that person. Oh, I love that. Do you? I don't think you really do love that person. You know what I mean?
Like, I love you. And then there's, I love you.
Right. Totally. Right, yeah. Right. But yeah, I was reading this, going back to that with the I'm sorry's is replace I'm sorry with thanks for understanding. So this is where I'm trying to put it in my brain. Like instead of I'm sorry, I'm late. I am running late. Thank you for taking the time to understand that this is happening and just changing the dialogue. Or instead of I'm sorry, I can't be there for you, be like, thank you so much for, and like giving appreciation to it instead of like victimizing it and being like, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Putting a verb to that. Like, I really appreciate giving the other person credit for being like,
I get that.
You know what I mean?
Active appreciation.
Yes.
Active gratitude.
But really mean it though.
Yeah,
Not like,
no,
oh,
fully.
I appreciate, because then there's those people that are just like, then I was like, I don't appreciate you at all. But being like really coming from a good place of heart, being like, I really do appreciate it. Instead of that's condescending, like, oh, I appreciate you just waiting for me for 45 minutes.
Right.
So yeah. You have to look at your tone with that. However, we'll talk about tone another time. But yeah. So, but prioritizing. So, okay, having the baby, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, since this is raw talk, not food, what have you been prioritizing lately? Because let's talk food. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I know that we could go back even to when I was just pregnant. We were working out the whole thing. I know the first thing everyone tells you is like, oh my God, you could eat whatever you want. Go for it. Like, boom. But right away, the doctors were like, I know they're going to say this to you, but don't do that. Because if you gain too much weight, you cause so many more problems. And I myself personally did not want to have any kind of problems with the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Medically, just even bouncing back. Like I wanted to have a good, healthy, just be good, So we started working out on a regular.
Killed it.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it really, truly helped. I mean, I wasn't working out to lose weight. It was just to be strong and to be more active while, I gained the weight, but it wasn't too much. So when it came to baby gone, the whole thing, and I'm breastfeeding, so that you're burning so much while that's happening. Thank God.
Yeah, you look great.
But now that whole habit of, because I don't diet and I eat fairly good. I snack. I'm a snacker. So I was like, I let myself go with the snack. I can snack whatever I want to have. But now I know I shouldn't.
But you were always mindful about it though.
Yeah.
But you were pregnant. Come on. Like, how much did you gain?
No, right. I gained like 45 pounds.
That's
great.
That's great.
That was it. The doctor was just like, keep it there. But now it's 6 months out and I'm like, okay, I can start to rein it in. Like, and part of me is like, I liked my ice cream. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like my, but that's what it is. You just kind of have to pay attention to what you're putting in your body. And also too, in terms of prioritizing with the baby, I just don't have enough time to like do all these things and eat all this food and cook all this stuff. Like I have enough time for like maybe one meal, quick one, nothing overthought, overwrought, over whatever. And that's why snacking has been an easy thing. So it's about picking easier snacks, right? And with helping the baby, now that he's starting to eat and trying to figure that out, he's actually going to make me be better because I want him obviously to eat good. So I have to eat whatever he's eating just so I make sure it's fine, tastes good. And so more snacks, more carrots, more brock, more like things you can just chomp that way.
Well, you're killing it because like it's funny. I went to grab these snacks, right? Because I'm going to show you. These are some of my favorites. And like people try to give me, a lot of people give us stuff, like to try to promote, but I only like promoting like what's legit.
Healthy,
so we'll talk about this later. But I was watching, I went into the aisle, which I never do, but I thought about you, is the baby food aisle. And I could not believe it. I started doing research about baby food because that's not my genre right now. But the amount of lead and arsenic that used to be in some of these baby food and the rice formulas, and it's mind blowing. Also, can I ask you a question? Is it not weird to you that chicken's in a jar on a shelf and not in the fridge? Like, how do you work the baby food?
Okay,
how are you working
just
it?
Slowly figuring it out.
Yeah.
So he's still at the puree land. Like I'm going real slow with it, right? So it's all veggies, fruits. He was not a fan of any of the grains or oatmeal, so we got rid of those real quick.
Oh, that's great.
It was just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
And we're having fun with that. I asked my sister, I was like, how do you introduce meat? Because I'm not a meat eater like that. I mean, I'll do chicken, right? But I don't do red meat, I don't pork and stuff, so...
We have lefty tapping over here.
Yeah, it's an animal house.
I love it.
Too many animals.
I love it.
But I think I'm just going to wait. And it's up to the parents to figure it out, I think. But I'm going to wait until he figures out how to chew. Because the idea of pureed meat just makes me want to...
I can't do it.
In my mouth.
Me too.
And I can't... That's disgusting. And I asked my mom if she did that with us. And she's like, no, I would never. And I'm like, hey, God, because that's just... Also found out that baby food... I mean, they have 2-year lifespans on those shelves.
Crazy.
Food should never... I mean, that's
on a
awful.
shelf.
Yeah, they
exactly.
tell you not to give that stuff to your dogs. Like, why would you do that to your own baby?
My dog's food is in the fridge. Okay,
yeah.
Bougie little thing, but
exactly.
Okay, so then how do you prioritize now, like with making food? And for people out there, when it comes to baby food, your food, like how are you prioritizing without apologizing and yet being healthy at the same time?
I feel like right now my prioritizing game is about necessity in the immediate. And it's kind of being done for me in a weird way. Like I love how society at this point, because I have a child now, understands. So the pulls that you normally have from friends and going out and doing all those different things it's not happening. It's not there anymore. They're all like, oh, you have a baby. We understand. And which is great.
Yeah.
So it's about the cycle and the routine with the baby. So we have a whole morning thing and I have a whole chunk of time where I can just, heat up, pump, feed, like do the wash, and you learn to do everything in like 10 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah.
At the same time, you're like, drop that there, press on there, swish that there, and then eventually you get good about like him on the hip.
It's a good workout too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then the nap times are your like gold for you to do stuff for you.
Right.
But right now I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I can start things, but I can't finish it because he'll wake up. Or, you find yourself like, and this is why you kind of need help, like when you get your me time, you don't want to spend that time doing laundry or washing dishes or, cleaning the bathroom or whatever like that, you want you to, call a friend because you need some semblance of balance.
Yeah.
You want to do some work. You want to, you need emails, whatever. And that's a balance I'm trying to figure out right now. And that'll happen as it happens. It's like a daily thing. Like, okay, that worked, that didn't work. So I find it prioritizing now easier because I don't have those pressures anymore from like, oh, I need to call her. Oh,
you don't have to apologize for it.
And in this day and age right now with the whole pandemic thing going on, it's, we're home.
Yeah. Well, I say the same thing to people with food, like in general. You know, people are like, oh, it's so much cheaper to eat fast food. And honestly, it's not if you really break it down. Like, I know with the pandemic and everything going on right now, a lot of people can't share, space with their neighbors and stuff like that. But I always think a great tip is to go, if you have a membership, like to Costco, or buy in bulk of some sort, like at a Smart and Final or something, whatever comes in bulk. And then bring your friends together as opposed to happy hour. Like, you can drink wine while you do it, but like put money in a pot. You guys all buy a large supply of food.
Yeah.
And then you guys cook it. And we'll cook it, prep it all together so that you're not alone doing it.
Sure.
Put it in Tupperware so you can put it in the freezer for your family, pull it out. So it's like homemade meals, and it becomes way cheaper, and there's nutrients, and it's not fast food garbage.
No.
Because I don't understand it. Like, in France, I was, there's a town in France, and it's a low income town, and their school system hot lunch meals are like gourmet. Like, there's a chef literally that goes through what the menus are, and it's like cheeses, and they learn how to serve one another. Like, there's bread on the table. They serve it and it's like, then they look at American kids' food, and it's slop of what did you have growing up? Like, even the nicer schools, but a lot of countries don't have private schools. Like, I think in Finland, private schools, and tell me if I'm wrong, everybody listening here, but I believe that private schools are illegal in Finland because then rich people have to put money towards poorer schools, instead of paying and being secular with everybody, and then the money is going to go in and then rich kids can grow up with poor kids, right?
Oh, so there's more of a balance in society.
And when you get older, you won't treat low poverty people as badly and walk on top of it, and you'll actually like work together better because you wouldn't want to treat your friend bad, right? It starts in the school systems with the food and you know what I mean?
It's about, exposure.
But can you imagine?
Diversity.
But can you imagine giving Apollo Coca-Cola all the time and then being like, I don't understand why my kid's running around and being crazy right now. Like, what is going on?
Well, that's the whole American capitalist, like, sell you by the whole thing. Because what I found, because, everyone was like, well, what kind of baby food are you going to give them? Where you can buy this good stuff. And I was
is that a talk? Is that what they're saying? Like,
well, you'll get that.
I'm sure. I'm ready. Yeah.
But I was like, actually, I'm just going to make it myself. And there's also that talk too. Just make it yourself. It's easier, it's cheaper, it's faster. And believe it or not, it is.
I believe it.
It takes me less than 10 minutes to just puree a whole bunch of like steamed broccoli. And, there's stuff you can get now, the little machines that are just made for that make it so efficient and so
like baby
smooth.
food machines?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love it.
And you're buying the produce, so it's cheap, and it's just cheaper. It's cheaper than having the stack. And I understand you don't have enough time, but
do you?
So the question about
Make
time thing,
come on,
and that can apply to a lot of stuff, right?
Everywhere.
I know that before baby and everything, we would you prep Sundays. Generally, most people I know, Sundays is their prep cook food for the entire week, right? And it takes so little, just by doing it, so little time to make the baby food on top of your food that you're doing that it's easy to do. And with baby food, you could freeze it. And then after you've made a whole bunch, you could just pop those little ice nugget thingies in the microwave and you're done. It's ready to go.
Exactly.
So it's about just doing it, just making the time for it. And that was another thing I wanted to bring up to you. It's about, I know we started with like not apologizing for the things you need to prioritize for yourself. And part of that is making the time to do what you need to do for yourself, even though you don't feel like it. Even though, it's just not you got to make that food for yourself for the rest of the week. Otherwise, you're going to just grab whatever's on the shelf, and it's not necessarily the best for you. But I'm finding now too, because I'm trying to raise a little human here and do the best I can. Like, it just kind of bleeds into everything else, because he's watching how you're taking care of yourself.
That's
and, your surroundings, his surroundings, the whole bit. And so it was like, all right, make the time to work out, make the time to make the right food, make the time to and, I know in many cases there's the element of not being able to afford it. Or, and yes, I understand in a lot of cases if survival is still a situation and all of that, but then you have to kind of just mentally, going back to what you're saying, just shift it into a positive way. You got to mentally find a way to positively make the time for it, in those little moments, instead of just, I don't know, filling the time that you do have with empty calories.
And what about budget checking? Like, I had a client once that said to me, she's like, I can't afford to eat. And I was like, sit down. So I literally went through the day. Do you know how much you're spending on Starbucks a day?
Oh, that's a big one.
$8.50 a day on Starbucks. You break that down per 5 days a week during work. And then, and I was just like, are you, and you don't have money for what? And you're in debt. Why? And what's going, you really have to sit down with yourself and just go, okay, again, back to prioritizing without apologizing. If you like to shop online, good for you. But if you're going to be in debt from shopping online, give up Starbucks. It's a compromise at the same time.
Right. But I love how Malcolm, not to interrupt. Sorry,
yeah, no.
But Malcolm likes to be like, how much time do you watch TV?
That's a huge one.
That's a huge taker right there.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to look at your intake and go, oh, you could use that time focusing on other things. What
I do too is I makeshift bikes. People are like, oh, I can't afford this and work out and a gym membership. Yeah. I don't care what you say. My place is not the biggest. I literally made shift before I got the bike. And you can go on Craigslist. There's a lot of things you can do. You can even makeshift on YouTube a bike that you can get on Craigslist for $15. You put it on one of those.
College of YouTube.
Yeah. And you put it on one of those stacks in your house, and instead of going, you can just do the bike in your apartment.
Yeah.
Now, I enjoy watching TV. I really like it. But now, for a good hour of it, I have to move while I'm watching TV so that I can get in my workout at the same time.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And also, it's a meditation, like we were talking about the last episode. It's a meditation for me to kind of check out without being on my phone. And it's weird because it's not a meditation, but it is. I still have my bad TV show on, but I'm breathing, I'm thinking, I watch bad TV so that I don't have to think so much during that cardio time.
Let's not make TV watching a bad thing.
No, it's not.
I mean? It's entertainment. It's giving to yourself, especially when you just don't want to think about heavier stuff anymore. You can just kind of zone out and zonk out. Everybody loves that. I love doing that.
Yeah.
We have our shows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still got to look at the sheer amount of time you spend on it and balance with everything, right?
Right. And so 4% is 1 hour of the day. So I was like, if I'm so ADD to start with that I could watch TV and work out, why not? Okay. Madame, we did not do this. So last episode that we discussed was the journaling.
Yes.
Okay. Let's discuss this. I don't know who out there knows, didn't listen to the first podcast that we did, but you tell everybody again what the homework was, and then I'll tell you.
Because we were kind of addressing, authenticity and self-talk and helping yourself kind of get your yayas out, if you will. So you take your dominant hand, for me it's my right, and you write down whatever is going on in your head, and questions you have, just get it out there. And then you take your other hand, and believe it or not, you'll be talking to yourself essentially, and you answer your questions, or you answer, you go back and forth and conversate with your right hand, and you'd be really surprised at the truth that and the stuff that comes out from just that kind of journaling.
Oh.
And that kind of conversation.
And I was. Okay. So I did it for the first time. I don't know who out there has done this before, but I highly recommend it. Yeah. The woman that's always like, it's okay. Just open yourself up. Don't judge yourself. Okay. Okay. So I did it. Right hand. Blah, blah, blah.
Real talk.
I was so hard on myself with my left hand because I'm a right-handed person. So hard, so critical. Like the words were not coming out. I was frustrated. Then I had like a cramp. Then I started thinking about the cramp. Then I was saying like, oh, forget this. I had to stop and come back to, and I was like, what is going on? This is like a simple activity that I can just flow with. Like
no pressure.
But I tensed.
No one else involved.
Exactly. But I tensed my hand. I had to make sure it was perfect. And I was like, I had to sit back and really think, what else am I doing this in my life? Like sometimes I don't start new things, like learning a different language or things, because I'm like, oh, it's going to be way too hard. Where I'm like, why not trust the process though? Like, am I making it too hard because I'm trying to do this perfectionist thing, which I don't feel like in a lot of aspects, like my nails aren't done, my hair's not done all the time. But when it comes to like writing, and then I started thinking about my cursive class, about this teacher that was really mean. And I was cracking myself up while being so frustrated, but it was such a great activity, especially me. I don't journal, but I try it. Like literally, I don't know what came up for you, but what were you as critical as I was? I was just.
Well, yeah, in the moment. Okay. So it just now, because I've been doing it for a long time, for me, when I am not seeing the forest from the trees, or if I'm so caught up in my own kind of like emotion or anger or whatever, and I just need a moment to kind of look at myself, because, you know, you kind of just have to look at yourself in the mirror and just check if that helps.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you're doing this right now. Just chill.
Yeah.
And it's because you have to write, because you have to do that, it stops and it helps. It's a way to help you see yourself in the way that you're coming across right now, whether that's good, bad, you know, or just to see the forest from the trees in the scenario, whatever you're addressing in that journal.
It was not that deep, and I made it that deep. So then I had to look at it and go, what else am I making? I started thinking about my what?
Yeah.
It was great. It was a good check-in because
super enlightening. And you go, oh, I do that. Oh, I'm doing that again. Oh, and so then from doing that a lot and when I first started doing it, I was doing it a lot. And it helped me to kind of see myself and how I was doing things. Cause you know, it's hard for people to kind of look at themselves and go, oh yeah, I can come across that way. Or I do that. It's hard. So if you can find a way to help yourself see yourself, why not? Right.
And that's why I think I'm letting go of a lot of things in my life, because I think it's important, especially when you have a kid or, you know, now me being married. Relationships, man, are just, if they're a good one, they're a mirror that makes you look at yourself a lot of times and just go, shit, I do that. You know, I've never apologized so much, and I meaningfully apologize, like from my heart, because, and sometimes I do it because it doesn't mean I'm not sorry. It just means that I pick my battles, and I can be sorry because it's hurt. Thank you. Big moment. Thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa's known me a long time. Literally, I don't think I've ever apologized so much in a relationship, but a
lot of compromise in a marriage.
And you know, and we'll get to it in another topic another day, but you know, tone and communication styles and stuff. I think that's the next one we should talk about, like another time. But is just prioritizing him in that moment and going, okay, I'm going to say I'm sorry because I hurt his feelings, because that's something you can't negate in life. No. You can't negate that I didn't hurt your feelings because if I hurt your feelings, I hurt your feelings.
You can't invalidate somebody else's feelings. If they're feeling that way, okay, let's get into that.
Exactly.
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but a lot of times I feel like, you know, having a relationship is work. You know, a lot of people act like, oh, it's okay, it's cool. Like, oh, we'll just deal with it later. And what I try to tell people with relationships of any kind is, and we'll talk about later, it's if you have, like in my world of fitness, if you have a bad knee and you don't rehab it, and you don't work on it, and you don't make it better and like, you know, really rehab it. Right. And you just sit and don't do anything about it and ignore it, it's going to get amputated at the end of the day, just like relationships will. They're going to, because I feel like,
for sure.
And I feel like a lot of times people just ignore things that are going on. And so that's when things get broken and break up, you know? But I feel like a relationship is literally like rehabbing every day. And then the longer you've been married a long time, like have things kind of become easier in a little bit? Because the beginning of my relationship, we fought like cats and dogs, and now it's eased out.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, look, just in the beginning of especially serious relationships, right? Mm-hmm. You're kind of coming I mean, I found that like you're coming as yourself in that time. And I know in the beginning it was about ideas that you've had. It was about updating and maturing pictures and ideas of what it's supposed to be like in my mind. And that takes a lot of work, and that takes a lot of compromise and actualization and like acknowledgement and apology and compromise. You're like, oh, I didn't know, and you find yourself apologizing and going, I didn't see it that way, or I didn't think it was going to be like that, or that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm wrong, or you're wrong, or because you're both hopefully doing that, but that takes time. That's a moment, many moments, and so.
Now, do you find that women, this is what I try to help women with a lot, and I try to have kindness with myself about too, is I feel like us women in general, we don't make enough time for ourselves a lot, and we feel guilty a lot of times for keeping the appointments that we make with ourselves. Yes. Like I've said to so many women, a lot of men that I know, they're like, oh no, got to get in the golf, got to get this in, got to get that in, no matter what stage they are in their life, you know, where women, I feel like where I'm like, well, you're doing this and this and this, and you're making appointments with everybody and you're not letting them down. Why are you letting yourself down by making the appointments? Like you said, like to have some self love and care. And
well, I found for me, it was like, okay, again, those ideas of how it's supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, what you should be doing, how it should be, how it should come across. And then also the perfectionist part of like, no, I want it to be like this. You end up just taking away a flow and organicness to a lot of stuff, and forcing and doing a lot of busy work and, just trying to please and try to make it presentable in a certain way. And I know for myself, even now, and all the more now actually with the baby, it's just like, you just gotta let things be the way they are. Trust yourself. And there is enough time in the day. You just can't do all those things because you don't necessarily need to do all those things. What is it you need to do? And then go with your day organically, and figure that out. Because you just can't do it all. Like, and you don't necessarily need to. You may want to. You may think you want to. But you don't need to. And 9 times out of 10, you're just fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had more clients like
about letting that go for me right now.
Well, yeah, and COVID's a big one for that too. Like I'm watching people lose their damn minds because they can't settle in with themselves because they're always on the go, making all the excuses, doing the apologies to people. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now it's like, what are you sorry for? Like, bring it back in. What's going on with you? And people are losing their damn minds. I have so many clients that they're just like,
some valid. I mean, there's some literal things. You're losing
so
your job.
Valid.
You're losing, but
just sitting with yourself is valid and going, is this who I am?
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's giving, since everybody has to be home now, they are having way more time because they can't fill their days with stuff to distract them from what they're feeling or what they're thinking or, who they are, who they become. That's what it is. On top of just the flat out fear and anxiety of the fact that this thing is happening.
Right.
And there's no real leadership or whatever. So,
and it's really made me have those moments of going, do I even care? And just because you're home doesn't mean you can FaceTime me and expect me to pick up when I haven't talked to you in 4 years. Okay. I'm getting all these and then I'm getting guilted because I'm not picking up. I'm like, wait. Where have you been? Now all of a sudden you're slowing down and then you want to call me I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. Where the hell have you been? You know what I mean? Where it's like,
but see what we're talking about here? All this
bring
stuff
it back.
Is unveiling. Yeah. It's unveiling itself kind of like, and people's behaviors and how they are and how they're acting. It's all kind of
prioritizing itself
coming
of
out.
sorts. Yeah.
I mean, the honesty or transparency of everything is kind of coming out because it can't help it. And that's a good thing. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. I like uncomfortable, but it's
I mean, I
right.
You know what I mean?
You're good at handling it at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it though. I don't know what it is about me. I think Italian family.
But I get it.
You do. And you work with it well.
Yes.
No, you really do. But that's taken work with you. Like, yeah, I'm just used to always feeling uncomfortable. Like, I'm the girl that I'm used to. It's weird. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Well, one of the worst feelings I've ever had, and I've had it so many times in my life, Vanessa, is like having a dad that's a celebrity.
Sure.
It's literally like, since I was a little girl, I've literally like found a way to let people know if I like them, or anybody, let people know kind of who I am, what my dad is, and like all of that, because there's no worse feeling in the world that I've had than a person like being cool to me or not being cool to me, and then watching them from across the room find out who my dad is and then change on me like right away to like either kiss my ass when they're an asshole or to like come in even more so I don't know who likes me for me. So I'm used to those uncomfortable situations a lot where I'm just like, here we go again, bring it. And then I know exactly. And then anyway, that's a therapy session in itself, but like,
no, I had the same thing with my dad. And so it's, but the way I handled that, I don't know. Cause you do have to have a guard kind of with it. How you socialize in those.
Wait, tell everybody who your dad is.
So my stepdad.
Your stepdad,
but who raised me and everything. So, was JJ Jackson.
Woo woo! And if you don't know,
he was the one of the original 5 VJs. And so he had a celebrity in music and whatever like that. You would be at restaurants or eating and, and it's a Hollywood, it's LA. That's what happens. But when you are hanging out with friends and you're growing up in high school and they find out who, your dad is, and then they all of a sudden start to treat you funny. I mean, it was just weird. I remember you just had to kind of learn. I had to learn first is what it was. I had to learn the behavior real quick so that you could tell the difference. And then I knew how to act.
And how did you act?
Well, he was like, always be polite, always be, yourself and good. But you know how you are always 100% and open and free flowing with your friends. You don't have to be that way with other people. And that's just what it was. It was like, oh, hi, hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. And then you always have that trick of like, you ask them about them.
Yeah. Maybe that's how I got so good at what I do.
People always love talking about themselves. So you just go, okay, that's good. And then you just move on.
People love talking about themselves. Like, this is why with you and I love asking questions, and you're such a good listener, right? Where this is good for us. Like, and we want you to ask us questions out there. Yeah. We want to ask people. Okay. Now I gotta tell you something. Here we go.
Yes. Snacks.
Miss Vegetarian up in here. Okay. So these, no, I'm kind of obsessed with these. Ooh. So these are
vegan cheese.
No, but wait, it's even better. These are water lily seeds. The whole bag. Yeah. Like, we're getting creative up in here. These are water lily seeds. The whole bag, it's a mother and son. The whole bag's 100 calories.
Lovely.
2 grams of fat, 5 grams of protein, but you have to try these. So these ones are vegan cheese.
I can open?
Yes. And then these they're called Asha Pops, everybody. I got them at Whole Foods.
I like the name.
Asha Pop, come on. And we're giving you some PR here. This is so good.
Superfood.
So good. A mother and son came together to do these guilt-free.
Like the frogs jumping on a water lily.
Exactly. Frogs jumping on a water lily. The whole bag. And then that one, right? Guys, I wish we could do some smell-o-vision right now. So this one is turmeric, which is so good for you as well, and garlic. Turmeric and garlic.
This is delicious.
Isn't that good? The whole bag, you guys, it's literally, if you can't see it, it's a decent sized bag. And they look like those pirate's booty kind of thing. But they're so much healthier and turmeric. Try that.
They even have that like that cheesy kind of,
Right?
Okay, turmeric, garlic. Sorry. 2 very good ingredients.
Which one do you like better? But like on an airplane or like
I like that one
traveling.
Better, but this is really doing good too.
Right? There's a chocolate one. They're good.
Yeah, I feel that chocolate.
How do you do a snack? Like when you travel, because I know you travel a lot, do you just prep like a huge bag for food? Because I'm hypoglycemic. But if I don't have snacks,
something in my bag wherever I go.
Me during the day. What's your go-to in your bag? M&M's for me, of course. Meet Vanessa, everybody. I love it. You love your chocolate, girl.
Well, I'll have
never been fat in her life.
I'll do a protein bar. I love the Previnex also.
Me too.
And then I'll pick stuff up along the way. But yes, there'll always be something chocolate in my bag. Or, I mean, if I have something chopped in there, like carrots or whatever, I'll do that. But
do you have a time of day?
I'll be real, chocolate.
Do you have a time of day that you like 2:30 to 3 o'clock? That's when I crave sugar.
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay. And then that's when you like have your snacks and stuff. You try that? Yeah. You like that one better. Ooh. Then we got beet chips, which I'm going to be honest.
I just discovered beets. I like beets now.
Rhythm, thank you very much. I'm sure these are really delicious. I'm not hating on the company. However, you can make these yourself. Like, that's another thing. So this is a perfect example of this.
Yeah.
This bag was like almost $5. Okay. And that's where someone can look at this and say, I can't afford to eat healthy with beet chips. However, I just went to Underwood Farms. You ever been there up north? In LA, like outside of LA. And we picked like 4 huge beets for like $1.50, like no joke. And then all you gotta do, same thing that they do,
boil them, peel them, right, and slice them,
and bake them, and like put them in the air fryer.
Beets, yep.
And yeah, they're so good for you. They're so much better with the chip when you want that chip feeling. But you know, like
I'm
these,
because it's stuff to give the baby to try to see. And this is how he's kind of helping me be better.
These are delicious.
Yeah,
honestly, but you can yourself. But it's organic beets, sunflower oil, sea salt, and rosemary. That's it.
That's beautiful.
So that can cost you less than $2 for like the amount of probably 5 or 6 of these bags.
Yeah, and I know the argument is the time and all that kind of stuff. But again,
sorry.
you just said making the time, positive time. You kind of got to do instead of just.
I'm sorry. You know how many women I know that take time to drink their wine, watch their TV? Why not watch your TV and drink your wine while cutting up some veggies? There's so many cool things on Amazon you can cut up veggies with easy. Like get a friend to do it with you as opposed to just sitting around. Like there's no reason not. Yeah, be productive with your time as well.
FaceTime while I cook. Cooking is relaxing for me now.
I love that. Yeah, I love it.
I get stuff done while I'm. It's about just I realize it's about reframing things in your mind, right?
Delve more into that. I like that.
Positive reframing, like cooking. I used to just think like, but then I really got into it, and it relaxes me now. Listen to music, and I get into like different foods, different recipes. I've gotten better, so now I can remix my own recipes. It's been great.
I love it.
But I'm now starting to do the same thing. I mean, like with the baby, it's just, in the beginning where I was like, oh my God, what about me? But it's not about that. It's more like, let's listen to music. It's our together time. He's having so much fun. His happiness is my happiness. That kind of thing. And it's about reframing all of that in your mind. Even working out. Oh, I'm so grateful to be working out right now. My body feels so good.
Exactly.
Yes, this is hard, but it's a good hard. It's a good hurt. It's, yes, I'm anxious, but I'm also excited because I don't know what's going to happen. It might be great. In fact, it might even be better.
Yeah.
So it's, that's the practice of turning stuff around. At least that's what I've been doing. So it's been really good.
Yeah. Like, isn't this good? Yeah. No, but I completely agree. I think our minds are meant, we go towards negative a lot more than we do positive because it's a defense mechanism because of the trauma that we've been through in our life. I was reading this study about how a lot of couples, especially from, 30, 40 years old, and older, but like especially that age range between 30s and 40s, they had parents that would come home from work at like 5 o'clock.
Sure.
So in their own relationships, they fight a lot more at 5 o'clock because there's something in them that would watch their parents come home at 5 o'clock and something's wired in their system. Like they did a big study about that, which I found to be so brilliantly fascinating. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's programmed, like where I said between 2:30 and 3, like I like sugar. Like, isn't that interesting how we can get programmed to like, I didn't have parents like that came home at 5, but like,
right.
Yeah. But isn't that fascinating? So
talk about programs. It's about like, figuring out your own programs and are they your programs or are they your parents programs?
Oh, we got so many pod shows to do. Is that what? Yeah, we got so many shows. Okay, so what can we tell? What's a tip? So I'll give one tip about not apologizing. So I think being mindful, right? I love the rubber band trick where you put a rubber band around your wrist. And if you're a mad apologizer, right, and you apologize all the time, flick it. Every time.
I like that.
And also when you say bad things about yourself or anything negative, especially apologizing and negativity, like just flip your, like literally, like that's what some addicts do actually when they're craving a drink to actually feel, because it's important to like feel that
physical sense of reminder. Right.
Exactly.
I would just add on to that to say, look for, because what I like about that is the positive flip. Right. Mm-hmm. So in those moments when you find yourself, feeling negative or thinking negatively or all that kind of stuff, try to expand, your vocabulary in that way to make it positive. Right. Mm-hmm. Responding is way more positive than reacting.
So, okay, break down that. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, think about just the word itself. When you react, it's like you don't have time to think. You're just you're just reacting. But if you're responding, that means you've given yourself the time to take it in, digest it, think about it, and then respond appropriately. So make the choice to respond, not react.
Love that.
Right? If you're feeling like, I've always felt that fear and excitement are the same energy, right? I'm talking about energies. Choose to be excited. You know what I mean? Instead of being afraid, be like, ask yourself, are you really afraid, or can you be excited here? What's that going to be like? Yeah. So just, with that, I would say practice that.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard to do because you have to first realize when you're doing it. But once you do,
it's a behavior and habit like anything else.
Try to change the way you're being with it. You know what I mean?
I love it. Like, you have to make baby. You could be like, oh, I have to make baby, but I have to do that. Or you can say, wow, God gave me this gorgeous child.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity. Like I'm
having the best time figuring out the food thing.
I love that.
I love food.
I know. But like, I love that you're bringing it to that level as opposed to like, oh, I have to work out. It's like, wow, God gave me legs that work today that I can actually get up and I'm not in bed stuck in a unit at a hospital and I can't, you know what I mean?
Like, who else is going to do it?
Exactly.
I'm not trying to go to the market every 5 minutes either, especially right now. So it's like, let's just do it and let's just make it a good time. I'd rather have a good time than a bad time.
Exactly.
So what can you do to make it a good time? What can you do to make it feel better?
I love it.
And then do those.
Exactly. And
there's no reason why you can't.
And you won't be perfect doing it at first, but it's a
practice.
And I'm guilty of it daily, seriously. But the rubber band and then reprioritizing your words without apology.
Yes.
Okay. I think so. I'm going to finish these beet chips up in here.
I'm going to kill this bag.
Right? Do it. 100 calories. I'm telling you. Asha Pop, shout out. Hey. We are obsessed. Well, Vivi, I think I learned a lot from you.
Another one out of the bag.
Yeah. I love you. I love it. And reach out to us, y'all.
Yes, please.
Instagram and check us out YouTube. Make sure to ring the bell so that you can know when our new videos are coming on Instagram and on YouTube especially. Yes. So I'm learning the YouTube channel myself. But raw talk, not food, baby.
Raw talk, not food.
As we say.